All right, good evening. It's 5:30 and I'd like to call the work order of the Coffee County Board of Education to order at this time. Mr. Peanut Davis is here. We haven't seen him in a while, so I've asked him if he would lead us in the invocation. Maybe his check is clear.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we just come to you today, Lord. We just thank you for this and thank you for the blessings you've given us. And Lord, most of all, we ask that you be with our bus drivers. So you start the new year, we pray, God, that you be with them. Be with the kids, Lord, that they will behave while they're on the buses. Be with our school board, Lord, that they continue to look after the school system, the kids, the teachers. We just ask you to bless them, Lord, and guide each and every one of them. In Jesus' name we ask, amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, at this time I need a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
I'll make it.
Mr. Wade, second, Mr. Jowers. Any discussion? All in favor?
All right, thank you. Yes, sir. Welcome. I'd like to welcome everybody here. Miss Johnson, just a word of information, had called me earlier this week, and she had a situation she needed to be with her daughter to take care of, and so she may not be here this evening. And Mr. Adam Watt is he's en route back from a doctor's appointment in Tipton, so he may come in a little bit late, but he should be here in a few minutes. So he just may be a little bit late. All right. On our agenda, the first item that we have for the board is a school update from Wiregrass Regional College and Career Academy. And we'd like to welcome Ms. Pam Smith, the principal or executive director, CEO of the Career Academy. Welcome.
Thank you. Always excited to come and talk about our Career Academy and the things that we're doing there. So I'm just going to share a few slides with you and give you an update on what we've been doing. Okay. If you can see this, it's our graduation rate. It's the graph, and I'm just going to skip forward because we've talked about, where we started and how much we've improved through the years. So I just point out that in 18-19, you can see that we were equal with the state graduation rate. So we got that improved a lot, and then in 19-20, we jumped to 96.3%, and this past year, 2021, a 95.2%. That took a lot of hard work from our staff, working together as a team to have that improvement. And would like to add that we are one of only 98 schools in the state of Georgia to achieve a 95 or above graduation rate.
That's great.
The 5-year graduation rate is pretty much the same as last year. We haven't had one the last 2 years because all of our seniors at the time of enrollment have graduated. So we're very proud of that as well. I wanted to point out our HOPE scholarship eligibility. And as you can see, this would be our number of seniors and then the percentage of HOPE scholarship recipients. So in 18-19, we had 45 seniors, and 7 of those seniors received HOPE eligibility. So that was 15.6%, and we had a goal to increase that. So we worked really hard to work with our students to understand the criteria for HOPE eligibility, making sure they're in the courses of rigor. And that improved in 19-20 to 17.3, and then jumped when we had 68 seniors to 41.2% of our students graduated HOPE eligible. And this is a photo to talk about Great Promise Partnership. This is Ms. Kelly Waldron giving Joshua Tanner. He was a Great Promise Partnership student who has worked the last 2 years, and he received he was the state recipient of the Great Promise Partnership Award and received $1,000 at our baccalaureate. So that was great, and I'll just mention that Ms. Waldron also received a $500 award at the GACT conference for being the regional Great Promise Partnership Coordinator for the year. We're very proud of that program and what it does to get our students ready for the workforce. They're gaining those skills out in getting real world work experience, and I'll talk a little more about that in a minute. This is Miss Jessie Hutchison. She was our valedictorian this year, and just wanted to mention that that was another great accomplishment. She was our district winner for Young Arthur, and then went on to win at the Okefenokee-Risa district, and then honorable mention at the state. So we're also very proud of Miss Jessie. This is a little more about our work-based learning, Great Promise Partnership, and I'm not going to read all that to you, but that's Benjamin Henry, and if you'll go on to the next slide, I'll talk about that for a second. His employer had a few things to say about the program, and this is from Jeremy Newell at Broadcast South. Benny Henry is a good example of finding your passion at a young age and striving to be the best version of yourself. He came to Broadcast South Media, LLC during high school with only a dream and some frankly raw talent. And since then, he has begun using his passion for radio as motivation to learn and build on. Benny currently hosts 2 shows with us, a morning and afternoon show on 101.9 The Rocket. And while he is still learning and growing in this role, he is proof to find your passion, what it is to give it your all. And then we are very proud to give him this opportunity and excited to help guide him as he continues to grow in his role at Broadcast South. So if you listen to Broadcast Media 101.9 The Rocket, then you may hear our former student Benny. And he had that opportunity because of Great Promise Partnership. This is one of our students, Mr. John Cody Thurman. He graduated also this year as an early graduate in December. If you can see all of his accomplishments, he was able to get 5 different welding certificates while in high school, as well as a diploma and an associate's degree in occupational studies and technical studies, as in currently employed in maintenance at Pilgrim's Pride. And then the last one is our graduating class. Just a little bit about their accomplishments this year. We had, out of this class of 68, 92 technical college certificates earned, 3 diplomas, and 5 associate degrees out of that group of students while in high school. So that is an amazing accomplishment. 1,777 hours, saving their parents nearly $200,000 in college savings. And then I just wanted to end with our theme for this year. We want all of our graduates to be enrolled, enlisted, or employed. Any questions?
I mean, I just have a comment. I know, the board went through, the chatter in the community about why we were forming that facility, and when you're on the board and you know what the real issue is and what was engaging students that were not being engaged at the regular classroom level. I was one of those high school students when I was here in Coffee. Moved in as a junior and just was like, so I can understand, being ready to move on and finding a career and a pathway, and we really appreciate the community support once we got it going, and because we knew that we were going to help kids. So.
And we're helping more and more students. As you can see, was our graduates grow each year, and then their accomplishments grow each year. And
I know hearing from their families as well about, that they didn't know how things were going to work out after 7th, 8th, 9th grade. So, yeah.
And we try to grab those students and find them a path that they're interested in and keep them in school and graduate.
Well, Pam, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think we've talked about one time one of your most recent graduates who gained the skills and the expertise there at your school and graduated and was offered a really good starting salary for a student straight out of high school. And I think it was around, did you say $60,000 a year? Wow. Graduating from high school, so that's pretty strong.
That's true.
Better be a teacher than.
Well, no, it's not better to be a teacher.
He probably doesn't get 2.5 months off.
Yeah, it's not better to be a teacher. But that's good for a young person. And was that in diesel mechanics or?
He was in maintenance and welding.
Great, yes, sir.
So, we're very proud of our students and what we hope to have more accomplishments to share next year.
Well, I work with Tyson now, and we had a sustainability webinar earlier in the week with automation and sustainability, and if you've been in a plant before in the last 5 years, they don't look like that anymore. And the jobs are now in maintenance and mechatronics and electronics and programming to keep those machines going. So it's
we're really happy to see that program growing as well. welding has been a big draw, and we get those students in there, but we also get them to go into industrial maintenance, industrial systems. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Appreciate it.
Good job.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the minutes from the previous meetings, and we've got those for the board to review. If you want to take a moment, look over those. If it pleases the board, we'll place those on the consent agenda. All right. Financial report, we have the tentative monthly financial report. Remember, this is tentative because the financials won't be formally approved until the books are closed out. So, Ms. Young, you want to describe the documents we're looking at?
Yes, sir. We're in our final, well, we begin in our stages of closing our books for June 30 of 2022, and we're doing our closing entries. We're posting those as we speak. We have more to process. So, but as of today, we're estimating that we should close our books at approximately 25 million, around that figure. We'll know more as a couple weeks, be sure
Yes,
that's where we're going to be.
Yes, ma'am.
We hope to have those books closed the middle of September is when we hope to present the closing figure to you.
All right.
This is our SPOS revenues as of June 30. The revenue was $697,733.90. So that was up from last year and also last month. So a very strong month in June for our revenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Any
Thank you.
questions there?
People are continuing to shop and go out and buy all stuff. All right. Next item on the agenda is the school nutrition bids, and we have Ms. Dawn Lewis here to describe the bids for us. Ms. Lewis, you want to walk through these?
The first one is, the first one, Logan, if we go back to the first one, there's no attachments to it, is the rollovers that we have just for our USDA commodities that we purchase. We actually process food, and we're on Lowndes County and Carrollton City's bid. So we're just asking the board to approve that we continue to buy off of Lowndes County and Carrollton City's processing bids, which just gives us more buying power because there's about 40 counties that are on those bids. So it just gives us a better price when we join them for our commodities. And you're just approving a rollover. You approved this last year. We're just asking to approve that we continue to do it. Their boards approved their bids, their last meetings. So any questions about the rollover? It's really nothing new. The next one, Logan, is our bread bid. And we were piggybacking with Evans County on our bread bid, but Evans County pulled out of the piggyback business and no longer does a joint bid, so we had to do our own bid, and I sent that out, and 2 companies responded, and actually McIntosh County and Atkinson County will be piggybacking off this bid if you approve it, so that did give us a little more buying power to add 2 counties to our bid. But Flowers Baking Company of Thomasville was the low bidder, $62,581.97 for our bread products, and then Williams also submitted a bid for $83,549.40. But it's our recommendation we go with Flowers, who is the lowest of the 2, and they do provide fresh bread delivered weekly to our schools, and we already do. They're our current bread provider.
They have a distribution place here, or
Yes, sir. They do. They have a distribution here.
If it pleases the board, we'll place these on the consent agenda. All right, and I
Actually,
realize.
well, on the rollover, I probably need to, we have plenty, but that's separate.
Yes, sir.
Lots here. If he's not, we can still move forward with it.
All right, he should be here by then, by the time we vote. All right, West Side School Improvement. We have received approximately $175,000, or we will receive in school improvement funding for West Side. They were identified as a needs improvement school a couple of years ago, and they are on the list for the state for school improvement, and therefore they were eligible for this funding. And I am correct with 175,000.
130.
130. All right, so it's 130,000.
Yes, sir.
And this does have to be approved by the board, so I'm asking the board to approve West Side receiving this $130,000 in school improvement funding.
Is it state or federal?
It's state. Yeah. And it's federal funds that's funneled through the state, but it comes from the state of Georgia. Bus purchase, we have a number of buses here that we're asking for approval to purchase, 9 school buses tonight. And we have Mr. Buddy Gilliard here, our transportation director, to answer any questions that you may have about the buses. You will see that FY, we have a worksheet there that shows the cost to the district. We are receiving, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner on that document, you'll see that we received from the state and the governor's office, they approved as part of the state budget, funding for 10 school buses. And the total funding is $881,100. And that comes out to $88,110 per bus. And that was included in our allotment, our funding for this year. So that money will be available. So Mr. Gilliard has gone through the process of purchasing 9 buses. You'll see we have 2 54-passenger special ed buses, and these are propane-powered buses that we've had a lot of success in using those. And so, and we have a 72-passenger bus. We have 7 of those, and you'll see the total for the 54 passengers comes out to $319,678, and then the $1,005,473 for the 72-passenger buses, the 7 buses. And we will get an alternative fuel rebate on the 54-passenger bus of $24,000, and we'll get $84,000 rebate on the 72-passenger buses. So the total cost for the system, after you figure the rebates and you figure the state funding, will be $424,161. So we're asking the board to approve this purchase tonight. We may come back towards the second half of the year and get that last bus, see what our needs are then, and get that last bus. But this is what we're asking tonight. Mr. Gilliard, was I correct with all that?
That's correct, yes, sir.
All right. Are there any questions? All right. Well, thank you for being here. Yes, sir. And I will say, I think we have the best bus transportation director in the state of Georgia. So we're blessed to have Mr. Gilliard here and the work and job that he does. So, yeah. All right, and I'm serious. Thank you for the job you do. All right, policies. We've got policies here that we're asking the board to approve. Last month, we put these policies before the board, IEDA, unstructured break time, and this is simply to update our current policy in accordance with this state law that was passed this last legislative session. And it really does not change the way we'll operate at all. It will be consistent with the way we've been operating in recess, such as that. The next one is policy IKBB, divisive concepts, complaint resolution process. This simply outlines if somebody has a complaint about something regarding divisive concepts in our schools, this gives them a route for how they would complain. All right? And then approval of new policy IKBC, material harmful to minors, complaint resolution process. And, this is once again, if somebody has a problem with some of the curriculum or whatnot, they could go through this process to bring their concern forward. And then the next one is approval of new policy JRB, Parents' Bill of Rights. Of course, we love our parents and we love our students, and we want to protect their rights, and so we're adopting this to protect parent rights in the state of Georgia and Coffee County, so we want to make sure we do that. And then review of policy BH. Wanted to review annually, we have to review the code of ethics, and I know in our retreat, we talked a lot about these types of issues and discussed good boardsmanship and ethics and such as that. But I did want to bring these policies forth just as a review, and in your spare time, board members, if you will, review these policies. And I know you all are quite familiar with them already, but this is a compliance thing that we need to make sure we put it in front of the board in a board meeting. So that's the board code of ethics. And then we have the board member conflict of interest policy that we also need to review formally each year. And so it's a fairly lengthy document that I know y'all are familiar with. And if you want to take some time outside the meeting and review those, that'd be great. But that's the board member conflict of interest and board code of ethics policies. And then the other policies are up for adoption tonight. Are there any questions? All right. If there's no questions, then we'll place those on the consent agenda for the regular meeting. At this time, I would call for an executive session to discuss personnel and the employment of the evaluation or disciplinary action on an employee. And I would also like to discuss the superintendent's evaluation as well as real estate. So this time I would ask for.
Before we do that, I do have one quick, I meant to go back when Ms. Lewis had the floor. Would you mind walking us through the community eligibility provision for the new school year, how that's going to impact the student body and families? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
I think not locally so much as we
Yeah.
had questions about, are things going to be sustained, and things like that. So I was proud to see that posting the other day on your social media that we are in fact going to do that. So, but that was just.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did, 2 years ago, well, last school, year before last, we applied to renew our CEP eligibility, and it's based on our direct certification enrollment, students that receiving benefits, SNAP, TANF, those kind of benefits. And that's how we're determined if we even qualify for CEP. That number has been going down, but Dr. Lease has been very helpful in working with me and making sure that we keep monitoring those numbers. So we did renew it, and it's renewed for 4 years. I'm going to look at it again this coming school year to make sure that if I can reapply, because we didn't get the same percentage rate that we were at when I got here, but the USDA did approve for CEP to continue. For the past 2 years though, we've been operating under the seamless summer program even during the school year, which means we get higher reimbursement rates, and every kid that comes through the line we get at a free rate reimbursed. But now this school year we'll be going back to the CEP, which means we'll get reimbursed on a percentage for paid and a percentage for free. So we won't be getting the reimbursement that we have gotten in the past, but the reimbursement rate did go up. Those rates have been released, and they're up 68 cents for the free student at lunch, and it's around 38 cents for breakfast. But we are going to continue to be a CEP school district for the next 2 years. And then, like I said, I monitor that. Dr. Let's tell you, I monitor it every year to see if we can get an improved rate. And I will do that again this year. We do that in April. but we're clear and on go for CEP.
So that means every student that attends our schools will get
Free
no
breakfast.
charge for breakfast, no charge for lunch. Will they have a la carte options after that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are moving back. We got the go-ahead from USDA and from Public Health to add like salad bars back, a la carte items, which we went away from during COVID, but we have gotten approval to do that. So we'll be back offering those alternate options for students to buy extra. But they can get free breakfast, free lunch, and then we do have an after-school snack grant that we apply for every year and are approved for that, where if there's after-school activities going on, we can also provide a snack for after-school activities at no charge.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Dawn. And I would say, I said that about Mr. Gilliard a while ago, but I'd have to say the same thing about Ms. Lewis running a great program and being as good at your job as anybody we could ask for. And so, she knows CEP inside and out and has just been really diligent to make sure we keep that, and has challenged the schools with a report card type report that she pulls, and asked the principals to ensure that our students are going through the line and getting the meals, because we have to keep up a certain count. And so thank you for all that you do with that. I will say, when we went to Washington, D.C., I had the opportunity to go 3 weeks ago as part of AASA, the Superintendent's Association, as a Georgia delegate, and that was our number one ask when we lobbied our Congress members when we went to Capitol Hill. Our number one ask was that they continue CEP funding as it is, and our ask was that they've lowered the threshold for systems to qualify for CEP, because we're fortunate to be able to qualify, but there's many systems that don't qualify. So our ask was they just reduced that threshold a little bit so more systems could participate, more children could eat. And so, and I did have to stick a line in there from one of our former colleagues and board members, and I told our Congressman Alston Scott in his office that we need to be able to serve fried chicken and mashed potatoes and green beans, and we need to be able to season it up. And, he agreed. He didn't disagree at all. So, anyways, but thank you for what you do, Ms. Lewis.
And I appreciate Dr. Lees. He's not all school system nutrition directors will say that they have a superintendent who is calling them going, what do I need to say when I get here? What do you need? What can I help you get? So I appreciate Dr. Leeson going to Washington and speaking on behalf of not only Coffee County, but all the school systems in Georgia on what we need as school nutrition directors to make our programs function.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So to exit to executive session, need a motion in a second. Mr. Jowers, Wade, any discussion? All in favor? All right. We'll be back. All right, thank y'all.
What is it?